All right, let's get into this. People send me this in the Discord about Asmongold. It's just that I've been living like an animal for 13 years, and here's why. I'm just curious, honestly. I really just want to see what's up with this guy. He seems like a pretty decent guy, except he's a little crazy. Um, I'd say part of it's because he's rich and he has no reason to care. You know what I mean? All right, I can't imagine you're going to improve as a person once you make a lot of money. It's kind of a tough call, because now you don't have to improve. You have a bunch of money. Usually I feel like a lot of people are motivated to improve because they don't have money. You know what I mean? I guess that makes sense to me. But let's just get this going.
Hey guys, it's me, and today I want to answer a question that a lot of people have been asking me my whole life, and more importantly, they've been asking me a lot recently, especially online. And that question comes in many forms, but it always distilled down to the same thing, which is, in one form or another, why are you like this? Whether
it's a great question.
It's the dead rat alarm clock,
Yeah, somebody told me right before this about the dead rat alarm. I'm not super educated on Asmongold. The dead rat alarm clock is apparently, and I feel like this has to be a meme and can't be real. He just had a dead rat in his room, and when the sun would hit it, it would smell, and that's how he knew when he had to wake up. So, incredible stuff.
Barbecue, puke shower curtain, dead animals in the house, or any other one of the stories that are just an indicator of me living like a complete fucking animal.
Why would you do this to me? I don't even want to hear about this. This is disgusting. There's no way that this is real.
People always...
Like, I would be a little sloppy, personally, and my wife is the one who motivates me to keep it clean, but, like, oh my god.
Wonder, why would a person live like this? Why would a person be like this? Why am I like this?
I think the most disgusting thing about me is that sometimes after I pee, I don't shake it enough, and I get a little pee in my underwear, because I'm a little busy, a little fast. That's probably the grossest thing about me, I'd say. But that's fucking nasty.
And I think that honestly, there's a lot of answers for this. I really, really, really don't want to make this like a super long video. So hopefully I can distill it down to some main points and not really go off on too many tangents. Although
I'm going to assume part of it is that he grew up poor. And like, kind of, I don't know, man. Poor people are cool, I'm just saying. I feel like that's part of it. And you kind of just get used to living in little yuckiness, I guess. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being an asshole.
I think that I probably will, because there's a lot of like history with it and everything like that.
I totally would not let a dead rat in my room, though. That's crazy.
And so basically,
I totally would have eaten that before I went to bed.
First thing you need to know about me is that I actually, if you can believe this, I know this might sound shocking, is that I actually have not always been like this. This is a relatively new thing for me. And
really? It's new? What?
I think that it really kind of started a lot when...
Because, like, why not... Do toilet paper exist? I know. Blot it with the toilet paper. My wife started getting me to do that afterwards. It's weird, though. But, like, I would have expected this to have been something since, like, childhood or something. Does he, I know his dad passed away, which is terrible. Rest in peace. Does his mom have problems? Because, like, I don't mean to be that guy, but, like, listen, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit of a mama's boy. And, I could understand sometimes being a little lazy because of that. That's why I got a wife now, so she does cleans for me. Although she makes me clean too. She yells at me, and I listen to her. She fucking pain in my ass, but I listen to everything that she says. Maybe he needs a wife. I feel like that, or a cleaning service.
I would say in high school, and then...
he's been doing this for 10 years?
Later on, it kind of entered phase 2, and that was probably somewhere around 21 or 23, somewhere...
How old is Asmongold now? Wait, this is not recent. He's 34. This is 13 years. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, that's what it says, 13 years. Why did he say somewhat recently, then?
Around there in those age...
It's not recent at all. What the fuck are you talking about?
Groups, and that's whenever, the degeneracy really kind of went, it ratcheted up to the next level. I leveled up, new expansion release, DLC, etc., right? And so this happened then.
Unironically, I think WoW probably has something to do with it, because I remember I've gotten a little addicted to World of Warcraft before. You know what I mean? I get it. Even when this expansion came out, I had people to play with, so I've been kind of having fun. And, I've been kind of gooning a little too hard, and my sleep schedule was really off. I was playing WoW a little too much, and now it's starting to ramp down a little bit because I figured out my main, and I don't want to play more than one character, and I want to play other games as well, So, I mean, thank you so much for the 10-month small gut from McScoops. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I love the Irish.
Because as a kid, I was actually very much like a very conscientious kid in the way that I basically didn't really want to be perceived in a negative way. I wanted to be seen as a good person, etc. And
I think everybody does, I think he probably still does want to be seen as a good person. It's just, I guess he doesn't think being clean is part of that because he's getting positive feedback from the internet when he doesn't clean himself. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, people still think I'm a good guy.
And
he's probably not a bad guy, just a gross guy.
Had a big problem with being able to like relate to other people because I think that I'm just a little bit off, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's somewhat new, especially in a generation that grew up with video games. Because like me too, I grew up with a lot of video games. I probably can sometimes struggle to relate. I did get some forced interaction, mostly through like, you know, well, school, but then also like the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. And that's where I had my first gay experience. Okay, but you know, I'm just kidding. I was molested when I was a kid. That's when it was happening. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I get that, though. I get feeling a little awkward. I'm feeling a little awkward at social interaction, especially as a big guy, because I feel like people are intimidated by me, so I can't really approach people without them thinking I'm going to fucking murder them. Does that make sense? Wow.
I wouldn't say that I don't have a moral compass, but I would say that my moral compass doesn't point north. And this has been
This guy's a fucking class A gooner, I can tell you right now.
Problem in a lot of cases in my life, whether it's with relationships or friendships or anything in between. I've had a lot of problems because of that. And in the process of this, I've learned a lot of things about myself. And the main thing is that...
oh yeah, guys, by the way, if any of these moments in this video resonate with you, timestamp them below.
My take and my view on moral issues is not really what I would say a normal person thinks. And this is...
Does he really have that much of like an outlandish moral compass? Because I feel like one of the reasons why Asmongold is popular is because he's kind of a gross guy that has like... That's like a pretty normal dude. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Fuck this game. Why the fuck is it evading?
Caused me a lot of problems, and especially like as a young kid, you know, being able to like interact and fit in with people. It's a weird dichotomy because
I remember being much more awkward as a young kid. I'll tell you one story. When I was young, I don't know why I did this, and I don't know why my mom let me do this. Just to be clear, this is fucking degenerate behavior. When I was like really young, I used to sit on the toilet and take a shit, and I would just piss all over the floor, straight in a line. I put a towel down, I just piss. And that's a really strange behavior. And I'm surprised I turned out as normal. Not that I'm particularly normal, but as normal as I did. Because, like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell's the matter with you? But that's what I used to do. I would just fucking competition piss style. From taking a shit, piss, up all the way up there. And I never understood why my mother let me do that. I don't think she ever criticized me for that. I really don't get it. There's no way she didn't notice. That's just absolutely vile, disgusting. Listen, I'm just telling you. This is what I used to do as a kid. My mother never taught me otherwise. You know, my mother also didn't teach me how to wipe my ass. I stand up and wipe my ass. I mean, I get it mostly. I get it clean. Very clean. But I stand up and I wipe my ass. Right? But apparently I'm supposed to sit down. I don't have the dexterity to do it, so I have to stand up and wipe my butt. Isn't that crazy?
Because the truth is, I actually always did have a lot of friends, and I never had problems making friends. But at the same time, I always felt like I was very different from a lot of other people because of the way that I felt. I used to have, for a comparison, just a point of reference, I guess you could say, I used to have my mom read me all of the different like sins in the Bible and everything because I understood, even as a little kid, I'm like, there's something wrong with you. You know, like, you better learn this so that way there aren't any problems in the future. And so I would have her read all these to me. That way I would understand how to behave, right? Because it just never came naturally to me. Things that come naturally to other people.
This doesn't necessarily sound abnormal. That there was something, especially if we're parsing it with the Bible, if he's saying that, like, oh, I didn't really have... some of my moral compass isn't as rooted as other people's is. I didn't come natural. I had to learn it. That's pretty much everybody. And especially with the Bible being your core of your morality, it can sometimes be a little weird because the Bible can be a little weird, especially in its expression. So, I mean, I was a rambunctious, like, obnoxious kid, so I would be kind of an asshole. But okay.
Were not natural and are not natural. It's not like things have changed. If anything, they've probably gotten worse as I've gotten older. And so I've always had a big problem being able to, like, you know, understand, like, where, you know, how you should act, how you should treat people, what you should do, how you should say things, etc. So almost everything that I do is a learned performance rather than an innate social, I don't know, like, instinct, if that makes sense. And hopefully the performance is good. I consider myself kind of a good actor, at least, right? But of course, there are going to be cracks and outtakes.
I don't know, man. I feel like Asmongold here. This is just my take. I love the guy. I feel like he's trying to be the jongleur. I feel like Asmongold's like he's trying to be a little edgy. He seems like a normal guy that's just kind of dirty. Like, yeah, I have some like abnormal moral takes. Like, what do you kill squirrels? Like, it doesn't sound like he kills squirrels. It just sounds like maybe he grew up and he just sometimes didn't understand some moral norms. Maybe slightly autistic. Probably not. probably just video game gooner like me. So some things came to you a little bit differently. Like there's some things that I do that are weird. For instance, like I talk a little too openly about topics. My jokes are a little raunchy and rambunctious. That's considered weird. I mean, I've been able to make a reasonable career out of it, so it doesn't come off as weird. But it just sounds like he really wants to be the Junklers. So it's like a little weird.
Takes as well. And so those are usually in the form of the Twitter clips with 100,000 likes. And so
And I also feel like he probably leans into the dirtiness criticism because it's like it can get some views and it's probably kind of funny.
As a kid, I was always treated this way, and people thought that I was a little bit off, a little bit weird. Like one time, like for example, there was a kid that I was like playing with baseball with him, and he was annoying me, making me mad, and so I hit the ball, and I hit it with the explicit intention of hitting him in the face with the ball.
Yeah, that's honestly a very normal male behavior. If I'm being real with you, violence. I'm not even trying to be an asshole. It's kind of normal. It's an unfortunate normal male behavior. Is anger and violence and lack of self-control. That's not really abnormal.
And I did. And so
I picked a kid up by a tree. I picked a kid up by his legs one time, and then I threw him at a tree. I was I'm 6'4". It's funny. I saw somebody at Target, Home Depot the other day, and he's like, "Oh, you're Papa Gut," and we chatted. He's a cool guy. And he's like, you're tall. I was like, yeah, I'm taller in person. I'm 6'4". Yeah, I was a fucking asshole. I was an animal. It's not a good behavior, but unfortunately, it's kind of a normal behavior to do that. So, like, it's kind of normal to be violent. My friends and I used to, we were weird. When the Boy Scouts, we used to hit each other with sticks for fun. So this doesn't seem particular abnormal behavior. It's not good behavior. I'm just saying it seems like kind of boy behavior.
I remember there was blood all over the kid's face. He broke his tooth and everything, and everybody was standing around like what the fuck? This is terrible. And I remember walking up. This was the best day of my fucking life. This happened. And
yeah, he beamed him, man. Maybe you could have been a baseball player.
And I was so happy, and I could see that other people were made very uncomfortable around this. And that's whenever I started trying to really kind of mask my emotions and how I felt about things. Because
guys, I'm the fucking Junkler. I'm the Junkler, baby.
It was very evident to me that I was not really normal. And
I got a restored cough.
This has been, a huge problem my whole life, but that was pretty much the first, at least the time that I can remember in my mind, the first time that I can remember that and see that, wow, this didn't go over the way that I thought it would go over, because I was so happy and nobody else is happy and they think I'm a bad person. But it's from my perspective, that's not how I saw it.
Well, you are a bad person, but you were in that moment. That's a bad thing to do. But it sounds like he was a kid. Kids, especially young boys, they struggle with empathy. So it just sounds like you're just you lacked empathy as a young kid. This doesn't seem like, Junkler behavior here, but Joker, maybe I should stop saying Junkler. I'm a little too old for that.
From my perspective, Rip Bozo. So this is a big problem, and
and even if now he looks back at that story and still goes, yeah, I still feel like I was justified then. That's a conversation about parsing your feelings through a past self. I remember for me, I had a friend and we were good friends. I was actually just thinking about this earlier. We were really good friends and we had a falling out over some dumb shit. I think I lent him a PS2 and then we were hanging out too much probably, blah, 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 blah. And then whatever. And it ended up blowing up. And I remember for a while into my 20s, I was like, oh, fuck that guy. And then I thought about why did we even fight? And it was dumb. It was high school drama. And I was like, wow, I maintained the feelings that I had from my high school drama years. Or high school years, those dramatic feelings, and I still felt they were justified now because I'm listening to a kid. I experienced it as a kid, and now I'm parsing a kid's behavior. I'm parsing a kid's attitude. It's oh wait, that wasn't that big of a deal. I was being a fucking baby. I feel like part of that could be that. It's yeah, I still feel justified now. It's yeah, but you're listening to a kid. That hitting somebody in the fucking face and breaking his face open unjustified over childish behavior is stupid. Now, there are times that I see somebody get lit up by the police because they pull a gun on them, and I'm you know what I mean? It's hey, deserve that. There's still moments where some of my violence slips through, but it's justifiable violence, right? So
it happens in middle school as well. I cared a lot about how I looked, how I dressed, etc. in middle school. Really, who doesn't? And I really tried to take myself seriously, and I tried to have a good impression, etc. Do the right things, say the right things, wear the right things.
I used to have long hair.
Be the right kind of person. And going into high school, I kind of got there's a weird thing where I ended up going to one high school that I didn't want to go to, and then I ended up going to another high school after that. After I told my parents that if they didn't change me over, I would kill myself and fail every single class. Which, to be I was halfway followed through with that, because my first semester in that high school, I had a GPA of a .08. It was actually impressive. It was hard to do.
How the fuck did you do that?
I had to go out of my way for this. And so
I used to be really smart. in school. That's it. And then I dropped out. I was like an honor student, and then I dropped out because I came off my ADHD medication and I felt free for the first time. You know.
Then I ended up getting transferred over, and I went to the school where my friends were.
Yeah,
and
hair,
I think that like the high school that I had originally gone to was a much more superficial, much more like like a higher class high school, because my dad wanted me to go there because like he wanted me to go to school to get an education. Imagine that. I wanted to go to school to hang out with my friends, so there was a bit of a disconnect there. And so I go over to the other school, and I realized that I need to stop caring about what people think about me, because I saw the people that were in that other school, and I realized that's not the kind of person that I wanted to be, because they
divided and conquered, dude. They separated him from his friends just to get him to do better in school. W parents, honestly.
Extreme version of the person that I was trying to be. And at that point, I realized that I didn't really want to be like other people. And
yeah, let me just show you guys this. I know that you want to see this. Here. This is me as a kid. Not even kidding. Not even joking. That's me as a kid. Maybe I'll try to get a better. I'll try to send that to myself on Instagram or something. Make it a little better.
I had to develop, I guess, my own identity, and this was at like I would say 14 or 15, and that happened, and that continued all the way through high school. And I was always like I never really had a girlfriend, right, in high school or anything like that. Maybe.
Yeah, me neither. I was a little bit of a late bloomer. I don't think I had sex until I was like 19 years old, man. I was a late bloomer. I was playing a lot of video games and shit, and I was just like fucking around. And I think there were girls that actually liked me, but I just was so fucking awkward, dude.
I talked to a girl, but not really, okay? And so I was never really treated very well by, a lot of girls or anything like that, and big surprise, imagine that.
Damn, he could have ended up a fucking school shooter. It's crazy.
And so, anyway, this happened, and, I kind of got used to this, and it was normal, so I would try to improve myself.
That's what I used to look like. Isn't that crazy? That's what I used to look like, dude.
And, like, make myself look better and try to do this.
That's what I used to look like. I got a Dimebag Daryl shirt on and everything. How do you like that? Those glasses are wild, brother.
And it would just be met with the same outcome, which was a massive failure. Big surprise. Being a level 60 warrior isn't as attractive to women as it is to other 16-year-olds.
Yeah, I was level 60 Shadow Priest. I hit rank 12 PvP, and then I stopped because I wanted to raid. I finally found some friends to raid with. I should have pushed to 14. I could have done it. I was playing World of Warcraft 16 hours a day, every fucking day. I think I could have honestly become a high warlord.
Guys. And so anyway, I had this happen, and I eventually kind of got to the point where I was more comfortable with that, and I stopped really caring as much about what like people would think about me, and in general just like people's perception of me. And this kind of got worse as time goes on, and I think that I spent like my teenage years primarily trying to disconnect myself and trying to remove myself from the obligation to be a certain kind of person to the public. And
yeah, all my hair dropped down. True.
Just to society in general. I viewed society as, I never chose to be here. This was not up for discussion. I just spawned in here, and so it's like I have to follow these rules. I have to do all of these things. I have to be this kind of a person. And then, when I was like 17, 18, 19, I asked myself, well, why am I doing this? And so I stopped doing all of that stuff, and I've done many degenerate things, none of which I regret. Nothing at all in my life.
What degenerate thing is this guy talking about? I feel like, what are we talking about here?
Life that I've ever regretted at all. But I would do things that a lot of people would consider to be very improper. Let's just say that. And so,
okay.
I never really viewed myself. I never really viewed it as like a good or a bad thing. I just, simply existed, and I did what I would do, and that was it. And at that point, I pretty much had completely disconnected myself from the perception of other people. And this was at the same time, like growing up, my mom was, I think there was maybe 2 years or so where she made above the poverty level in terms of income, and so we basically.
That's one thing I was like, I was a little more lucky. My mom worked for White Castle. Actually did pretty well for herself, so that's one thing I had. Wasn't a poor loser. Got him. Goo. Just kidding. We did my mom did pretty well, fortunately. So that was pretty cool.
Barely skated by most of the time, and primarily the reason for that, honestly, is because my dad always paid child support, etc., at least until I was 18.
That's cool. My dad paid child support too. Sperm donor, I call him. But he paid like drastically under what he was supposed to. He was a fucking scumbag.
All that time, she was able to skate by with that and pretty much survive. After high school was over, then obviously that stopped, and then she wasn't able to support herself, so I was having to figure out ways to make money and try to piece together money. She would borrow money sometimes from my dad, and it was in general a very, very negative situation, and so we never really had any money. This was the time where I was pretty much ironically at the peak of my degeneracy.
What does that mean, degeneracy? Because to me degeneracy, I'm a fucking legitimate sexual deviant. My wife and I were talking about some shit before. It's fucking disgusting, the things that I'm into. It's like actually nasty. My wife is very good with me though. Like we're attracted to each other, so that helps a lot. But like I'm a fucking like gooner, dude. Like I'm not even kidding, man. I just went to the fucking doctor because I had marks on my penis. This is fucking. I don't even know why I'm admitting this, but I don't care. I said this already in another stream, but it's embarrassing. But I had fucking what is it called? Frictional dermatitis because how much fucking because I fucking jerk off for so long. Because I'm insane. I have problems. I probably have like an addiction, but it's okay because I make money. You can be addicted to things as long as you make money. So that's the moral of the story, guys. Don't even worry about it, okay? So, what does he mean by fucking degeneracy? Like, what does that mean to you, man? Like, what are you talking about?
I was probably one of the highest rated warriors in WoW. At the time, it was great, but not necessarily in real life.
Fucking certified gooner, dude.
And so at this point, I had pretty much completely disconnected myself from the way that people saw me. And I stopped caring about the way that people saw me. Because I pretty much gave up on being like a normal person. I gave up on being accepted by the public. I gave up on living a normal life or, having a family or anything like that. I just felt like I just was not capable of that based off of my experiences that I had. And I had many other ones too. Like I stabbed somebody and a few other things too. I probably
What does that mean? What do you stab? Like with a pencil?
I wouldn't even say because it would too drastically alter people's perception of me. But
because I used to be a really behavioral kid that would get into fights and like fucking beat kids up all the time. So like this guy have like fucking ADHD or something.
Either way, a lot of these instances where
gooning to failure, dude, it's actually insane. Doing fucking super setting gooner setting.
I kind of was like, okay, this is bad. Maybe it's better that I'm quarantined in my house. And so anyway, I did this a lot, and my mom and I, like, it was really just kind of the two of us. My dad was there; he was supportive, and he always has been supportive. But other than that, I do have family, but none of them live in the state of Texas. And so any trouble, any problems, anything like that, it was pretty much entirely on me to resolve this issue. And so take care of my mom, pay for things, anything like that. It was always on me.
So he had some motivation to become a popular streamer, baby.
And her health started deteriorating at about the same time. This is big surprise. You smoke since you're 16. You spend your entire time smoking cigarettes, watching Ancient Aliens, and
sounds very unproductive. What the fuck?
Fucking around on the internet playing WoW, and you're overweight massively like she was. This isn't good for your health, especially when you're getting into your 60s, which she was at that time, because she had me when she was like 39 and a half or 40 or something.
Oh shit, a little late. My mom had me when she was 30. I'm 34. I can't wait to have kids, man. I gotta get on that shit, boy.
And so at this point, her health was deteriorating, and I remember like she had like a number of instances where like I would like wake up and I hear her like screaming because she would like I don't even really know what the fuck was wrong with her. I don't know.
Is his mom alive or what? What the fuck?
It was like a weird thing where like she couldn't see out of her eye, and then she had like some kind of like I think like a bleed in her eye, and then she had like I think it wasn't really a heart attack, it was like some sort of.
Hey guys, go to the hospital. Just so you know, like my wife called me the other day, and somebody that she worked with had passed away. Like he had chronic heart problems, and his wife kept saying, "Go to the doctor, go to the doctor." He didn't go to the doctor. He just collapsed and died at work. It's fucking crazy. That shit scares the fuck out of me, dude.
Like variation of that, and I remember like her like begging me not to call the ambulance, and this is just like, and this is at the same time that
I mean, like I'm not trying to be this. So if you're fucking poor, I'm pretty sure like you just don't pay your medical bills. Hey guys, here's my advice: if you're fucking poor, go to the ER for everything. If you don't have the money, just go to the ER for everything and have the taxpayer pay for it, because that's I mean, kind of. Well, it subsidizes in some capacity. They write off as a loss anyway. Just, who cares? Go live. Go to the ER. Go to the ER for your basic medical needs. Go to the ER so that you can get basic medications. Go to the ER for everything and pass it off on to people who can afford it. It's fucked up, but the system's fucked up. So you know what? Take advantage of it, boy. It's fine, okay? I don't give a shit. Thank you so much for the medium gun for 22 months from Jado. Appreciate that, buddy. You could say... you put those campfire starting lessons from Boy Scouts to good use, blame them, or ask for the badge. I don't need a badge, bro. Okay, what the hell are you talking about? I love you. What is that in reference to? I'm just so confused. What the fuck is that in reference to? But sure, yeah, I love you.
The house is fucking, we can barely pay for the house. We're worried about getting evicted from the house. We have no AC. Or no, we did have AC. We didn't have heat. And so, I would go to sleep and like
That's
the house
brutal.
would be so cold.
I'd rather have AC than heat personally, so I get that.
Because I would just give her the heater. And I always viewed it as like, I'm sleeping out on Mount Everest, right? It's like, I'm cosplaying as Bear Grylls. And I remember like my glass.
You drink your own wee-wee? I've tried that before. At the Boy Scouts, we did a thing called a solar still. So basically you dig a hole, and then you put some leaves in there and other stuff, put some leaves in the hole and shit like that. and then you cover it with saran wrap, and then you put a rock in the middle of it so it funnels down, and you make sure there's a cup inside there too, and you piss near it. And the reason you put leaves in there is because like as the sun comes up, it'll start to cause the moisture to rise, and like your pee will get filtered through the dirt. Dirt is a natural filter, honestly. Your pee will get filtered through the dirt, and you can drink it into that cup. 100%, that's a real survival technique. You could drink. I drank it before. It's fine. Tasted like lemons. I'm just kidding. It tastes like water.
Glass of water in my room, there would have like ice crystals on the edge of it, right? Because of how fucking cold it was. And so I did that really for like 2 years, and so we had like basically like zero money. And so this happened, and pretty much like her health would deteriorate more and more and more to the point where she couldn't drive, she couldn't do X, she couldn't do Y, she couldn't get a job anymore. And then it relied on me more and more to completely support her in like pretty much all ways. And so, and I remember she would like beg, like she was like on the ground like crying, begging me not to call an ambulance. And so this was very upsetting for me, by the way. Like I got to the point where like at this time period, I would wake up like every 2 hours or so with like a weird thing where I would hear her screaming my name. And this went on for maybe like 6
Was like she actually screaming, or was it like he was like PTSD? That's pretty fucked up. That feels like that would have some might have a little bit of a psychological might get a little psychologically damaged from that.
6 months to a year. And also I want to say that like all of this stuff and everything about it, I don't really like, everybody in life has problems, and I hope that by sharing my problems, people can kind of see where I'm.
Well, it sounds like he was able to overcome his problems with YouTube money. It was incredible stuff. I mean, so it sounds like what I'm hearing more than anything else is it sounds like Asmongold got used to more than anything else. He got used to this shit because he just stopped having a reason to live. Like, I mean, your fucking mom is giving you legitimate PTSD and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like that has a lot to do with it. Okay, I have to switch to tank because these guys are getting fucking dirty dicked.
I don't really care about sympathy. I don't care about people feeling bad for me. I don't really give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. So I hope that nobody thinks that this is coming off as any form of like sympathy play. I've had things bad happen in my life. I think that in many cases they've been my fault. I've deserved them. But this is just what's happened. And so anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good perspective to have. I try to put as much onto myself as I possibly can when I have something happen to me, even if it's not like that much my fault, because you can only change yourself. But I feel like it's easy to do that when you're in a situation where you like have a pretty solid pathway to improve. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if Asmongold turned out a little worse, he might not have the same like positive attitude. I could be wrong, but
totally and every action and every outcome in my life leading up to now has led me to the position that I am right now. And I think that in a lot of cases I'm happy with how I am. And you can't just go back and edit out all the bad parts and expect to be in the good part. And so at the same time this was happening, like a lot of my friends were obviously going through college, finishing college, having girlfriends, like moving in and everything. And I was worried about number one, my mom dying, number two, my being homeless, and number three, at that point, I had always assumed that I would kill myself after high school. Like, that was my plan. And, Wrath of the Lich King came out, and I just got distracted. I forgot. And so I ended up...
Yeah, I actually quit on Wrath, man. I loved Burning Crusade so much, which is weird, because after I played the classic Burning Crusade, it was just... I was just not that good, if I'm being honest with you. It was not that good. It was okay, but it wasn't that great. So.
Not doing that. And because of that, I never brushed my teeth in high school. Never really gave a fuck about it. Never cared. And this caused... Guess what that causes? It causes your teeth to rot out. And so a lot of my teeth had to be... I had to get fillings and everything as a teenager. And my dad paid for a lot of it, which he was very, very unhappy about. And so these fillings would...
He sounds like he's not a bad guy, but he sounds like he consistently feels a little frustrated by having to help his kid. Although then again, his kid stopped taking care of himself, so I'd be pissed off too, actually. You know what? Fuck that. I fucking changed my mind.
Come out. This is what happens with fillings or anything like that. And they did come out, and then, of course, my teeth deteriorated naturally, because I love soda. I love drinking soda. I've got a soda right over there.
Yeah, I don't even like soda that much. I like diet soda. I've never had, like, super big problems with my teeth. I have had gingivitis. Not, like, horrible, though. Just like, hey, you gotta kind of brush your teeth a little more, kind of thing. Or, like, floss better, actually, is what the problem was. So.
Went to McDonald's earlier today. Really, really like soda. Like it so much that...
Yeah, he forgot to take his own life because of WoW. Bro, I kind of relate to it, man. WoW was, like, a lot. WoW was pretty cool, brother. You know, WoW's not too bad. This is so lame. God damn it. They put you in this fucking... This is stupid. Anyway. WoW's cool, brother. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I get it. I totally get it.
That right now, I only have 5 real teeth left in my...
Like, I used to fucking go crazy in WoW, brother. I used to go crazy in World of Warcraft. I played so much. I think the best expansion, honestly, I don't know if it's a hot take, was Legion, to be real with you. It's so much fun. I also played with friends, but like Mythic Plus was such an amazing moment for World of Warcraft. It's so much. It's just fucking great.
My whole mouth. And I think you start with like 32, which is kind of crazy to think.
Damn.
And so anyway, this happened, and
am I like unironically healthier than Asmongold? That's fucking wild. I don't know. I mean, I have health problems, obviously, but
all my teeth were starting to rot out. I was not able to eat with one side of my mouth. I would have these toothaches that would get so bad that I would pass out from the pain.
What the fuck is that?
I eventually had to go to like the like basically, if you're like the people that
I just fell through the map. Okay.
really get fucked by medical bills are the people that are in the middle of like economically, because if you're broke, like they'll do shit for you for like $10. If they can get anything, they'll do it. And so I had a program like that, and so they would have to pull out my teeth kind of regularly, and that's how I lost. I have no back teeth at all.
I just fell through the map. If we die one more time, we have to restart this or we get no fucking anything.
That's why if you look at my jawline, it's very different than if you look at it from like high school or like by the age of like 19 or
If you look at my mewing line,
20. It's completely changed because I've lost all of my teeth and my jaw bone is like pretty much rotted out. And
That's
so,
crazy
which,
work,
as far as I know, is unfixable, at least in the way that I have this problem. There's a separate problem that is fixable. I don't have that one. I talked to a dentist about it. So it's basically like irreversibly fucked. And so anyway, this happened, and it was not a great time.
it sucks because like if a girl loses all her teeth, she can give like a really good gummy blowjob. But like, what can you really do as a guy? You can't do it. Well, I mean, you give a really good gummy blowjob, I guess. But I just, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like giving blowjobs, that's when it becomes a problem. But that's kind of cool, man. Like, I would never ask for my wife to like lose her teeth or anything, because that'd be crazy. But if she did, like, you ever see girls that don't have any teeth? They have like the dentures. They look like a totally different person, and so it'd be kind of cool because then I could like cosplay her as a different person. And maybe we could do some like fantasy where like I pick her up, she's like just some prostitute at like a truck stop or something, and she's like really down on her luck, and she's like, oh, like all this other, and I'm like, I've never done this before. I'm a classy guy. I usually take a girl out on a date, but I'm literally jorked up. Like you know what I mean? I'm just like, it's been like weeks. You know what I mean? I don't know if going through a tough time, and so I'm like, you know what? I'll give you a chance, and boom, it goes crazy, dude. It's just fucking wild, and I'm like, oh my god. And we do like a Pretty Woman, except with like a really bad venereal diseases, because they're a prostitute. So people they don't really show that in the movie because it's not it's not as realistic. That'd be just fucking crazy, brother. That'd be wild work.
My teeth were rotting out, etc. And at that point, I had to completely, like, pretty much give up the notion and give up the dream of ever being a normal person. At that point, I could feel myself no longer being the same as anybody else, right? And I actually, for a while, I really hated it, but then I got used to it, and then I embraced it, and I think that's where I am now. So I would say like that was from like ages, like I would say 13 to I don't know, like 21, somewhere around there, right? Then after that, I started.
So basically, he didn't really. He had a tough childhood, where and he just stopped caring, and so he just carried those behaviors into being an adult, and he just still doesn't care. It just seems to be what it is.
Doing other stuff. I was playing WoW. I was making videos. I was doing other random things, right? And my mom's like health pretty much would always get worse, and that's just that's just.
Did his mom pass away? Did somebody in the chat say anything? Rest in peace if she did. That's terrible work. It sucks.
It is when you get older, right? And so I would have to do my best to like take care of her, and worked at the IRS for a while. Tried to work at Sam's Club.
Fuck, do you get a IRS? What the hell did we do for the IRS? What the fuck?
It didn't really go very well. But overall,
why didn't that go well? You just like lazy or something? Wait, I wonder why he got fired. Did he get fired or something? Did it not work out because he like smelled or some shit? You know what I mean? Like, did you have like a hygiene problem so they kicked you out? Like, what happened?
Tried to go back to college. I do have a college degree, if you can imagine that. But
what do you got? Gender studies degree?
More from business from WoW than I did from business school. And so then I spent that time. And then this was all the time, like, me not knowing if she would, every day I would wake up and, like, hear...
Oh, she did in 2021. That's sad, man. God bless.
Voice in my mind, and, like, it was really...
I was talking to my mom, and she was talking about how she, like, outlived her mom and dad, like, age-wise, you know what I mean? I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Really bad. And this is just something I would do all the time, and I try to always make the best out of things. I try to just, not think about it. But, looking back on it, things were very, very bad. And so anyway, fast forward a little bit later, and that's whenever I was, like, going back to college.
Yeah, I mean, I went in and out of college a couple times. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and, things just kind of worked out. It's funny because, like, when I was about 30, I think it was 29, I was like, I'm going back to college for game and web design. Sorry, I did that already. That was... I'm going to go back to college for computer science to get a better job. I was tired of the job I had. They were taking away my benefits. It was like shit. And that's when I got popular on TikTok, and I was able to turn it into this. So I'm like very fortunate in that capacity.
I thought that I would just, basically.
Honestly, I don't even care if I outlive my mom's age. Like, I want to just make it to 65. I think I want my kids to be like old enough to not necessarily need me anymore. I know it sounds shitty, but I really just want that to happen. And then like whatever, I could die. I don't give a fuck. I want my wife to be happy and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Have a shitty job, play video games for my whole life, and then die.
I don't even know if I want to get that old. I don't want to deteriorate that much.
Right? And then I got
maybe 70, but
a shitty job, and I realized a shitty job is actually a lot more shitty than I thought it would be. So then I remember it was probably like one of the best things that ever happened to me is that I took this job at Sam's Club, and I hated it so much it actually encouraged me to make myself a better person.
What did he hate from that job so much? Like, what was it about it that made you hate it?
You can imagine that. And so I signed up to go back to university and finish another degree that I was working on so I could go to law school. Actually, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, cool.
Basically because I had a friend in high school. We would always play Magic the Gathering, and I could see him. He would always manipulate the rules to come out ahead and win different like arguments in Magic the Gathering. And I was like,
He wanted to be a lawyer so that he could win.
What's your step?
So you win D&D, that's great, or Magic, that's crazy, brother. But hey, motivation's motivation, I guess, right?
I bet lawyers do that in real life. I should do that myself. And so that was always my motivation. And
that's one down.
Anyway,
one more,
I did that.
Fucked.
And then, a number of other things, random things that are not, I would say like YouTube or public safe that I did. And then after that, I started doing YouTube. And then I started doing YouTube, and I focused on that. And I would put videos out of the way that I lived, etc. And people...
Damn, he just got popular from putting out disgusting videos from the way that he lived. That's crazy.
Would always find it to be very funny, or
I gotta figure something out, guys.
Or like weird, and everybody would like really like. There were a lot of people, and this is true even now.
I'm actually kind of pissed because like Instagram, I'm not in their bonus program for whatever reason right now. That you re-up it every 2 weeks. They didn't put me in it. And it's gonna be like a pretty big loss. It's like fucking. It's actually a really big chunk. It's actually really annoying, and they don't have any customer support system, so it's fucking really annoying.
People that like hate me for living the way that I do, and I think that really, people look at a person like me and they see a person who has a number of things in their life that they wish they had, but I've done basically. If you look at it from like, what do they tell you to do when you're growing up? I used every single thing to do as a checklist of what not to do, right? And so, I think that a lot of people could be a little bit, annoyed by that. And so I can see why, and et cetera.
Well, yeah, like being successful even though you did all the wrong things. I can see why it upsets some people, but I try not to look at other people and be like, oh man, look at them. Like, comparison, what do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy, I believe is what they say. So if you start comparing yourself to other people like that, you're like, oh man, Asmongold, maybe he this, that, or the other was easy. And that's the delve. Okay. We're not gonna get any loot now. But comparison is the thief of joy, right? So try not to compare yourself to other people because you probably have a decent comparatively. Like I would not want Asmongold's upbringing just for the chance at becoming a successful WoW player. Like, honestly, like, why would you, you know what I mean? Like, who would want that?
And it is disgusting, by the way. And so, missing half your teeth and, living in a dump with a dead rat alarm clock. You don't know if your mom's going to be alive that day. You've got no money. You have to support her. She's never going to be able to support herself. And things are just basically slowly getting worse.
Typical woman, America.
Worse and worse.
Sorry, rest in peace.
And I started doing YouTube, and things started doing a little bit better. I started doing streaming. Things were doing better then. I went to get my teeth fixed, because if you look at my old videos, a lot of my old videos, you'd notice that I smile. When I smile, I cover my mouth when I smile. The reason for that is this isn't Saikuno.
I never smile.
Where I don't like my smile. Yeah, well, I don't like my smile. It's not because I think it's ugly. It's because I didn't have any fucking teeth. And I didn't want people to see that. And so that's why I would cover my mouth a lot whenever I first started streaming. And so this happened to me for a long time. I go to the dentist, and they tell me it's going to be like around $50,000 to get all my teeth fixed and everything taken care of.
That's wild. It should not cost that much.
Then I thought, maybe, because it was the first time at that point where I kind of like, it really hit me.
How does it cost that much to get your teeth fixed? That just doesn't make any sense to me.
That I had like irreversibly and irreparably damaged my life in a way that I couldn't just immediately like undo. Because like as a kid, usually you make a mistake where
things kind of they shore back up, I guess you could say. I understand that mentality. That's as I get older, I'm like, damn, I got to be more careful about stuff. you know?
It's like you scrape your knee and then, well, you put a bandage on, it gets better. But with this, it never was going to get better, and it's only going to get worse, and it certainly has, by the way. And so, anyway, I did want to kill myself, but I decided instead of killing myself, I'd do something even worse. I'd start streaming. And
Okay.
I started streaming because I wasn't really making enough money, and everybody says, oh, well, I started streaming because, you know, I like interacting with people. It's because I was lonely. Well,
Bro, I started streaming because, dude, I'm so fortunate, honestly. Like, I'm not a big streamer by any means other than my morbid obesity. But, like, I started fucking around on TikTok while I was working through COVID. And I was able to turn that into a streaming. That's why I did it. Because people were like, you should stream. And I was like, all right, if you want to listen to something. And it just kind of took off from there. Like, through my ups and downs, like, I am so extraordinarily, like, fucking lucky and, like, privileged, honestly. You know, like, I mean, I've been a creator for, like, 4 years now, I think. Yeah, I pretty much quit my job in the end of 2020, like, September, I think. I've been a streamer since like the end of 2020. I've had ups and downs, and I'm not like a millionaire, but like I am doing very well, and I'm just still doing it, you know. And I hope its success continues. You never know what will happen, but extraordinarily lucky, man. That's all I can say, you know.
I started streaming for money. I needed some fucking money. And so that's what I did. And I was like, guys, we've got a donation goal of $100. And, you know, if we get $100, I'm going to go to Wendy's tomorrow. And I would always meme it up, you know, $1 equals one donut. And it's like, you know, I would make a bunch of money, and it was great. And things actually did go very well. I streamed every single night. I was very dedicated. I tried to make things as entertaining as possible. And, you know.
Should I start investing in case YouTube goes? Yeah. This year, like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to kill my student loans. I have a lot of student loans. My ex, I co-signed my ex's student loans. Those are $50,000, and over 11 years it would have costed $102,000. So I'm trying to kill those, and then my student loans, and my wife's student loans, because they have very high interest rates. Like especially my exes have 12% interest rates. It's fucking insane. So I'm trying to do that, and then I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to invest. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm just going to have my wife put a lot more money into her 401k. That's what I want to do, like her 401k, because I feel like that's not too bad, and that's how we're gonna like save, you know, put like a lot of money into it, like an exceptional amount of money. Because right now she's like, they match a little bit, but I think I might have her put like a lot of her check. So, you know.
I did when I
co-sign your loans. Yeah, don't co-sign people's loans unless you're like married to them. It's actually fucking stupid. Because there's nothing I could do. I have to pay it and then sue her. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to sue her because, like, I don't even know. I'm not going to get the money probably. It's not like worth it. And like, it would just emotionally put her back in my life. And I'm just what a horrible experience. I'm sure I was like the worst version of myself then too. I'm sure we're both shitty to each other, but like, I have no interest in fucking going back into that. It was a goddamn nightmare. So like. Yeah, man, like I'm not, it's like not even worth it. It's just so fucking stupid. So I'm pretty much going to eat probably $70,000 over like 3 years, which I'm fortunate enough to be able to pay off because I'll probably have it paid off next year with my tax returns. And then that's just it, man. And then I'll start like really investing. So that's all you can really do. Max out 401k. Yeah, I think I'll do 401k. Or I could set up my own IRA, I guess. I just don't understand it, and I don't know if that's what I necessarily want to do. I mean, it's just easier to do my wife's 401k. You know, to do that. So
I tried to do best, right? And things kind of got better and improved. This happened just at pretty much the same time.
For me, I feel like it's like really easy to just do my wife's 401k if we do like 30 or 40% of her paycheck into it, maybe even upwards of 50. Yeah, she's the my poly ex. Yeah, we were polyamorous together. I might even go as high as like 50% because like right now we don't need the money. And my thought is like if we pay off our student loans and shit, and we start putting a lot of money into the 401k or whatever, and then like this stops working out, I can just go back and get like another job, but like we'll have a significant financial burden gone because we paid off our student loans. And that's kind of the thought process that I'm having there, you know. So that's kind of it. Because if I go back to another job, like I'll probably do okay. Like I could probably go back, get a job. I could probably make like. Depends on what I try to do, but I could probably end up making like a decent like wage, because I worked for like 10 years and like I'm not fucking dumb, so I could figure something out, probably do okay. And You know, we could ride it out. I could be a school bus driver and probably make like $60,000 to $70,000 a year after a little while. You know, so I have like because they do pretty well in my area. Like school bus drivers, I think the top pay is like $35,000 an hour right now. You know, I could figure it out. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. But right now, if I could get rid of that financial burden, that's kind of where I'm looking. And then even if we have to lower the amount of 401k, if we were able to front load like a ton of it in the next couple of years before I potentially lose this as a career, which I hope I don't, but if it could happen, you know, then like even if we put in less as time goes on, it's still a bunch of front loaded money. So
a lot of my friends were kind of evolved.
I'm not going on Caleb Hammer's show.
And going past,
what happened to your dono message?
College.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Mason, for the $5. I'm sorry. Not only do you deserve to be a streamer, I deserve to watch you poop. Incredible. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry.
Like they were getting careers, getting married, having kids. And like now, I'm pretty sure. I'm thinking to myself, I'm pretty sure every single friend that I have is either married or has a kid. Which is kind of crazy considering that I'm sitting here doing what I'm doing, but it is kind of weird. I'm 34 now, which is honestly a fucking shock. Like I can't believe it. I don't feel 34. I feel like I'm still 16. But I look in the mirror.
Dr. Disrespect vibes, baby.
See my hairline, and I think to myself, oh my god, wait a minute. I think I'm actually 34. And if I'm really not sure, I talk to somebody.
It's funny because I'm getting older, and I feel like I'm getting older. You know, like I'm in a good way though.
I'm enjoying getting a little. And then I realized, hold up, wait a minute. No, actually, I am 34, because there's no better way to realize that you're actually older until you talk to somebody who's actually younger. At least it is for me. So anyway, my stream was doing very well. My social life really, I pretty much like stopped interacting with a lot of friends of mine.
I mean, that makes sense. Like I did too. A lot of my I have a good friend. His name is Scott. We used to be like best friends in high school, and he's a cool guy and he's successful. But like he's my age and he's not like in a relationship or married or anything. And I'm at a point now where like I just personally only really hang out with people that are like married, or in like a serious relationship. It's not because I hate other people, but like that's just the vibe I'm on. Like I'm not really trying to go to a bar or a club and hang out and shit. I'm not trying to put myself in that type of like, because that's the kind of shit that he does. He's chilling. It's good for him, but that's not the kind of shit that I want to do. Like I'm not trying to do that, you know?
Because I focus pretty much just on streaming and on making this as much as possible. And also, I'm a very introverted person in a lot of ways. I like being alone. I don't like people talking to me a whole lot. I don't like phone calls. I don't like interacting with people. I don't like going out.
Me neither, man. My wife forces me to, and it's like a good thing. Like my wife knows me. I'm never. We have a party coming up. We're getting ready for it. Like next week, we're doing a soup party. Super Bowl, we're calling it. Is that silly? I like that. And like I don't want to do that at all, but when we do it, it's gonna be fun. Like that's just kind of how I am. You know, my wife kind of forces me to do stuff, and then I end up enjoying it. We also have a costume party coming up on like the 19th, and I'm gonna be Jared Fogle, and she's gonna be an alien. So we're doing Alien versus Predator. And then the next day, we actually have a party for something else. I can't really say because never mind. I don't want to talk about it. So it's a gooning party maybe. I'll tell you after it happens.
You guys might notice this, right? If it's, a mystery or secret. And so, big surprise, that's how it was. And then, I started streaming, my stream started doing better. And there was a degree of, like, stress that created. But, and
yeah, streaming has a weird bit of stress sometimes when you get criticism and stuff. And there's, like, the stress of you not knowing if you have a stable, like, financial career sometimes. But it's not really like, it's not as bad as any other job I've ever worked, so.
In terms of like my lifestyle and everything, living that way, I never really thought about it at that point. I never really worried too much about like kind of how, people would perceive me. I always viewed myself as like, this is just who I am. This is what I am. That's all there is to it. And I never really took, I still don't really take any criticism or any negativity to heart. I don't take it personally.
Yeah, you kind of have to try not to give a shit. That's part of it. Like you have to try to functionally give a shit about criticism you get. Like you want to care, you want to listen to feedback, but you want to take it with a grain of salt. It's never proportionate. People are always disproportionately criticizing you on the internet, even if you're in the wrong. And it's not worth like getting worked up. It's worth like sitting down and thinking about it over a period of time. You don't need to make any instantaneous changes or anything.
I don't really care a whole lot. And so at the end of the day, it never really bothered me, and people thought it was funny. And so, I had like these snack box, and there were like maggots in the snack box, and I would eat this food with the maggots inside.
That's fucking disgusting, brother. I can't. That's diabolical. I don't know what to tell you.
The food, it was like honey buns, which were really, really good. And to be honest, I didn't even really taste them. So it was pretty much the same thing. It didn't even bother me. And so
I guess they do it in other countries. So
I had like
there's like I think a country in Africa that like they eat mosquito burgers, which actually is kind of clever. There's a bunch of mosquitoes, so they go around with pans and just like fucking hit them in a way where it like scoops them up and they fucking turn them into burgers. And apparently they taste gross, but they're really high in protein. So Maybe kind of base, actually.
Taken at that point, you know, my teeth are like totally rotten out, and so I had taken pliers to like break pieces of my teeth off. Even, you know, like if I wasn't able to speak during a stream because like a point was like, you know, poking my tongue, or like you know, playing a game or something like that, talking to people. And so I still have the pliers actually in my bathroom from all the way back then.
Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? What the fuck?
And so this had happened for quite a while, and then I guess you could say
this guy's like a fucking Rotmeister. What's going on here?
I started, like, I guess, like, the second phase of my life of, like, trying to remove myself from, like, caring about, being worried about the outcome of other people. It was always very scary for me to know that, like, you know, my mom would die one day, right? This was extremely scary.
Yeah, I
this
get
was, like,
that.
the one thing that I didn't want to have happen. And in 2021, it did happen. And so leading up to that
sucks,
was
man.
incredibly stressful. She
that.
pretty much did everything that she possibly could. I love her, but she did every fucking thing that she could to make things as absolutely unpleasant as possible. Oh my god.
Damn. She's well, I mean, if she saw it coming, she probably was like almost in that give up mode. It's like, oh, whatever. And that's sad stuff, man. That's sad stuff.
And so
that's why sometimes you hate to say it, but sometimes it's good when somebody just dies very quickly. It's horrible to say, but like, you know, usually you remember like a loved one by their last moments. And so if your loved one's last moments are very abrupt, you'll remember them very fondly. But if the last moments are like very like a long drawn out, like frustrating a process kind of a thing, you know, it could cause you to unfortunately generate some frustration. But the positive, it could be that you start grieving them before they pass away, which is almost can be a good thing, because like when it happens, you're almost relieved. You're like, you know what, they needed to go, which is not in like a mobster way, more of like a, you know what, it's their time kind of a thing. You know, it's really just two different experiences, honestly.
Yes. It was very frustrating to deal with somebody like that. But, you know, she was 70 at the time. And so it really hurt. And it's, you know, like, she was the main person in my life that I was, like, most connected to. And, like, you know, this is the person that I had, like, the deepest emotional connection with. And to just lose them. And it was kind of random, by the way. Like, things got worse over time, but there was nothing, like, at the very end there. It just kind of went off a fucking cliff. And so this happened. And then at about the same time, a little bit after that, I also broke up with a long-term girlfriend at the time, and then at the same time, my dad got so fucking sick that we were like talking about writing his will, like, and he's...
Is his dad still alive? I thought his dad had passed away.
Still setting all that up because he doesn't know if this shit's gonna happen.
Oh, is he still alive? Oh.
But again, right, what's gonna be? And he's 77 too, so it's rough, right? It's bad. And he went through pneumonia 4 fucking times in a year.
Jesus.
And so, and he's still getting around, you know, going to the store, etc. But I gotta help him every once in a while too, right?
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I go to my mother's house once a week. She's only like 66 or something, but I just do it to do whatever she needs me to do. So it's like whatever she wants. I go over there. What do you need? What do we do? We do like some chores sometimes. Nothing crazy, but she likes to stay as active as possible. Like everything. Like she likes to mow her lawn and everything. And I'm like, I'll hire a person to do it because I'm not doing it. I fucking hate mowing my lawn. I'll just hire somebody. She has a small lawn, so it's really not a big deal. But I have a big fucking lawn because my property sucks. But yeah, man, I try to go out with my mother once a week to eat and like all this other stuff. So.
And it is what it is. And so again, and you know, we don't have any family around here, and so, you know, if something goes wrong, if something's bad, there's one person who's responsible for that, and that's me. And so that's a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure, right? And you know, I had all 3 of these things happen to me within pretty much 1 year of each other, maybe 2 years with the thing with my dad. And so at that point, I began the second part of, I think that, like, you know, my you know, abstraction of reality is that I tried my best to remove myself from caring about other people as much as I can, and not caring about them in terms of, like, you know, being friendly. Of course I'm friendly with people, but being emotionally attached to having them in my life, being emotionally attached to the way that they feel about me and how they're doing. It's been very hard for me to actually have any sort of feelings towards people when it seems like everybody that was important to me is fucking dying. And so this or leaving me, right? Or breaking up with me. So at the
why did they break up with him? I mean, I understand the idea of getting hurt and all that, and then, like, you know, not wanting to develop close connections and everything. I do get that, but then at the same time, it sounds like some of the reasons, well, specifically with the girlfriend thing, that seems to be like, I would imagine maybe they broke up because, like, you're kind of not to be even rude, but like kind of disgusting. I mean, you're sitting here telling us about eating fucking honey buns with maggots on them. I'm thinking that maybe that is there's a correlation with that in your girlfriend. Like, wow, that's disgusting. I mean, you know, I know girls are willing to put up with a lot sometimes. Like, I've certain stories of girls that are like, yeah, my ex had like just shit stains all in his underwear, and that's wild to me. I've never had shit. One time I shit my pants. It was when I was a little older. Well, I'm sure I shit my pants as a baby, but I trusted a fart. and it was diarrhea. And then, you know, I always tell this story. I trusted fart, it was diarrhea, shit in my pants, very embarrassing. My wife was my girlfriend at the time. She cleaned it up for me. That's how I knew she was a keeper. A week later, she put the same underwear on because, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend shit, you know, you wear people's clothes, each other's clothes. Had the same problem. I think it was like maybe a food that we had eaten. That maybe, you know what I mean? Like it kind of, it had an impact on the trajectory of our anuses. So incredible stuff. Or I might have actually, you know, think it back now, we might have like had like we might have done anal or something. You know what I mean? Like that'll open you up. It'll change you up. So
point, you just kind of get away from that.
That'll make you. That'll tilt your you know, your goober snooch, you know.
And then after that, you know, we entered into, I would say, the third phase, which is the point where I you know, lose the connection with myself. And I think that whenever I finally do that, I think that maybe one day I might be happy again. And what I mean by that is that I always worry about like dying and, you know, all this stuff and like how I'm, you know, like where do you go, what happens, right? And
I try not to do that. I think about that sometimes too, especially since I got married to my wife. Like I met her. Like I never really used to care about myself because I used to work a lot and like I used to be fucking miserable and I was like with people I was with somebody I didn't love. Like it's I you know, you don't know it at the time. My concept of love was like responsibility back in the day, so I would be with people that usually needed help. And I was like, oh, I could help them and fix them. And unfortunately, they in some instances take advantage of me. You know, like I would be like, oh, like they would be struggling at work, and I'd be like, oh, you can quit your job and I'll support you, and then you can get back on your feet. And like that turned into a problem like twice. And by the way, I'm not like a good person, I don't think, so don't like feel bad for me because I'm like kind of I could be an asshole. But that's like the constant feedback loop that I would get into, and then like I was just like, you know, I thought that love was just about like responsibility, and it was just like, you know, terrible. And then I met my wife, and I'm like, wow, I actually like this person, and I'm like still like this person. It's fucking actually insane. It's wild work, but you know, things start to change up a little bit, and you know, I don't know. But now I really worry about dying because I'm like afraid of not being with my wife anymore. So it's fucking crazy.
It would be very, very stressful for me, and I usually reassure myself by reminding myself that I'm just a hyper-intelligent monkey that probably evolved too fast, and I think that we all are, by the way. I
mean, being very self-aware is something that will give you some, like, stress, you know, if you think about your existence all the time. I was watching Dr. Mike Israel talk about, like, why he smokes marijuana, and I was like, oh, shit, like, one of the reasons was just to turn his brain off, because he thinks so much. I'm like, shit, maybe I should actually try that. Not a lot, because I greened out one time, and it was terrible, but maybe I should try that just to calm my brain down, because it ends up having such a negative impact on me, like regardless of what it is, like whether it really doesn't matter. Like even when it comes to the gym, like I was struggling with my gains this year because like I think so much about like, oh, is this like optimal? And like I've been struggling to get back to where I was when I was like younger. I mean, obviously recovery is a factor, but I'm just like overthinking so much. I need to stop fucking thinking. It's actually killing me, you know. But it's hard for me to do something and not care about it. So I gotta figure it out.
It's not like I'm special, and that usually
just turn your brain off and play World of Warcraft
is oddly reassuring. But otherwise, it was very stressful for me, and I did think that I was farther along. I thought I would be okay with dying until I thought that I was dying, and then I realized that I wasn't as far along as I thought I was.
True.
Recently, whenever I had a blood pressure reading of 194.
What the how? I've never even had a blood pressure reading that high. I'm on blood pressure medication because my blood pressure was like 150. What the fuck, dude? Holy shit! This is insane. Asmongold's the proof that being skinny isn't necessarily healthy. That's insane. That reminds me of a story my mother was telling me the other day. We used to do this thing at White Castle called Kids Day. This is when I was a kid still. But they would have like a kids event and it would be like a lot of fun. And one of the things that one of the people would do, one of the employees, is he bought a heart pressure or a blood pressure monitor. And he would just do it for the kids. And like I think it's cool because it gets kids used to going to the doctor and becoming more comfortable. In my opinion, I think it's like a fun thing. And it would be fun, like, oh, your blood pressure is this. It's all good. There was a lady there. She was an adult. Did her blood pressure over 200. He's like, you have to go to the hospital right now. She said, nah, I'm fine. A week later, she fucking died. Isn't that insane? Isn't that fucking wild? It's fucking insane shit, man. It's fucking so scary.
Which is a high score so far, you know, at least so far. And so things have been improving since then, by the way. But anyway,
well,
this
good.
has been...
I'm assuming he's on some medication. Yeah, man, get on that med, buddy.
You know, my life. And I stopped really caring about anything. I stopped caring about what happens to me. I stopped caring about what happens to other people. I stopped caring about what people think about me. And I
don't do that.
Felt that the more that I have... The more that I've cared about things, the more unhappy I've been as a person. And
I kind of understand that. I don't think that. I mean, it depends on what you're caring about and why you're caring about it. You know, but I understand like the fundamentals of like, oh, I'd care about like X, Y, and Z, and it would make me stressed out. I kind of get that. Like my wife gets very stressed about the state of the house. So if it's dirty, she gets very stressed about it. So you could say if she didn't care, she'd be much better off, right? But then at the same time, we live in a dirty fucking shithole. So sometimes it's not bad to care productively, you know, and sometimes it's also not bad to not care productively.
I think that this is true on like a base level. Is this some sort of pathological problem for me? I think it probably is. But at the end of the day, this is the best way that I know to cope with it, right? And so for me, the way that I live and everything is a manifestation of that. It's always been this way for me. My mom, like growing up, things were pretty messy, etc. But then even now, things are worse than they ever have been in terms of like being messy. But you know, I never really think about it or worry about it because I'm just never really, it doesn't even cross my mind. I'm thinking about things that I want to think about. I'm doing things that I want to do. And I never think about what other people think about me. I don't think about how it affects other people. I don't think about how...
Well, that seems very selfish. I do. So it sounds like he turns his brain off, though, because he is sad. He's a sad guy. I was like, you know, again, he seems like a pretty decent, normal dude, but that's kind of I mean, I'd say that's a pretty significant weakness to just not care about anything because it might hurt your feelings, which is what that is. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that's a very weak way to live. You know, I would just say, I think it's good to be productive about these things, you know, not be so black and white about it. But that's my opinion. Hey, what's up, Jack Esposito? What's going on, brother? $5. Thank you, brother. Warning, there's a tall white guy with dreads. With dreads game overing homeless people in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's already ended 6 this week. What the fuck? What is overing homeless people? Oh, I see. You're using... okay, yeah, I get it. Damn, that's fucking insane, dude. What the fuck? Jack, is it you? What the fuck, dude? Is it Batman? Because he does beat up a lot of mentally ill homeless people. Also, that's terrible, though. Sorry for the joke.
How they feel or anything like that. And it might sound like a bad thing, but it's made me a happier and more fulfilled person, not worrying about anybody else, really, other than myself, unless I have to. And it's been very, like, weird for me. Getting older, especially, and you know, like having like priorities change in your life, and you know, having different things happen to you. And so I wanted to make this video and kind of like explain like kind of how I got to be this way, and hopefully a little bit of this can like explain why do I behave this way? Why am I like this? Why do I have no shame with things, right? It's because I've lived a life where I've tried desperately to hold on to any degree of dignity that I've had and anything that I've had, and it's just slowly been taken away from me. Whether it's myself, pieces of myself, other people, or the way that the world sees me. I think that the more that I've kind of just, you know, let things flow freely and not care about it, the more happy and content that I've been. And so it's an ongoing process, and began whenever I said, you know, I guess I said I was like 13, and you know, I guess the last thing for me to do is really to let go of myself and, you know, just finally be content with my own existence for the time that I exist. And I'm not really a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person either. I don't believe there's any light at the end of the tunnel. I
hope that there is. I like to think. I hope that like there's some kind of something that happens where my wife and I stay together. You know, I feel like we fall in love 1,000 times. That's what I always tell her. I like to believe that. Even if it's not true, I kind of need to believe that. Or else I'd probably be very depressed. So, yeah, I get a little more spiritual as I get a little older. That's the trade-off to being in love. The true trade-off to being in love is that, like, your best scenario is that you're going to be miserable. One of you is going to be miserable one day when the other one fucking dies. Like, that's it. That's your best case scenario is being suicidal once the other one passes away of old age. And like once we have kids, if one of us goes, we will have to stay alive for the kids. So you know what I mean. Like right now, the plan is if we don't have any kids and one of us, I'm out. I'm done. I'm finishing myself. If my wife passes away, I have no motivation to live anymore. That's the entire reason for my existence at this point. Same thing for her. But if we have kids, we have to keep going on. So, and I've thought about how I would do it because I don't think my wife is not a coward. I know that she would be able to do it, which I wouldn't want her to, but I know that she could do it. But I'm a coward, so I'd probably like. I've already talked about. I'd probably move to like. I'd probably just fucking move to another country and just like become a drug addict or something and fuck a bunch of like, you know. I go to Thailand, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say, and just like, you know, burn out. So I don't know, man. It's just something, you know. I don't know.
Definitely don't think so. And I just try to make the best of being in the tunnel. And so that's why I live the way that I do. That's why I do the things that I do. That's why I say the things that I do. That's why a lot of criticism and things like this, of course I don't like it. Of course I don't like it. But it doesn't really emotionally affect me in the same way that I think it does for other people. And it used to affect me a lot
You know,
more.
Asmongold, I know a girl that might be able to put up with you and make you a better guy. You know, she's a little thick, but she's a good person. I think that you guys would do well together. You know what I mean? I think that they would do well together. So I think they would do well together.
But I've gotten...
Just hit me up. I'll help you out. I'm not even kidding. This isn't even like a joke. I think I actually know somebody. But we'll see. I mean, it would never happen, right? Because I don't think I'm even on. I mean, I'm sure Asmongold knows who I am. I'm sure he's seen like a YouTube short or a TikTok of me before, because like that's where I thrive. But like not in a meaningful like internalized capacity of like, oh, that's Schminglebang. That's Papa Gut. Like, he wouldn't know it in that capacity. He might see me and be like, oh, I think I remember seeing this fat guy on Instagram or something. Which I haven't been doing, by the way, because they pulled me out of that fucking creator fund thing, or the bonuses thing, for no reason. Or they didn't re-up it, so I just stopped posting for now. I applied for verification with the free version because I'm a creator. If it doesn't work out, I'll do the paid version, because they don't have like live customer support unless you pay for like the $12 a month or whatever, or the $15 a month. So like, what the fuck? So I'm gonna try to do regular verification, then I'll do that, and then if I don't get anywhere, I'll just stop posting there for a while, because I don't know what the fuck else to do, man. Like, it's kind of shitty. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I'm a little bit better, at least, at dealing with it. And so hopefully this can answer some questions and kind of give people a little bit more insight into my life and the kind of person I am.
Yeah, I feel you, what the fuck's happening right now?
That's pretty much about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to cover. 30-minute video. Actually, I was expecting it to be longer. So, that's my life story. That's what's happened to me in general. And that's why I am the way I am. And will I ever change? Maybe, maybe not, right? I mean, I honestly, like, making a lot of money on Twitch and, like, the notoriety and everything, like, people recognize you.
That's pretty cool.
I just... I guess it's nice, right? And I mean, sometimes having money is way better than not having money. But in terms of like, having a lot of wealth, I live in my same house. I use my same desk. I, for a very long time drove my same car. I eat in the same places. I do the same things. I really haven't changed at all, honestly, ever since.
Kind of a good way to live, because then even if he lost everything, he still has everything, because he lives below his means. I live below my means for the most part. Like, there was one time I thought about getting a really nice car. Not like a super nice one, but I was going to get a Dodge Challenger. And I just didn't. I was like, you know what? I shouldn't get it. And it was good, because after, like, very recently after that, I ended up struggling on YouTube for a little bit. And so, like, that would have been too much. But since I didn't do that, like, because I was able to kind of, like, chill. And I think that was either last year, it might have been the year before last year. I don't really remember exactly, but it was like a year or so ago. And like my financials went down to pretty substantially for me, to like not great income for New York. But I've been able to recover, and still I've talked about it. I'm like, oh, I really want this car. And my wife's just like, I don't know, like, we should save up for like a kid's car. You know what I mean? Like a fucking minivan or something like that. So that's kind of what we're doing more. It's not even that we're saving up. We're just like holding off until we feel like we need to get it, if that makes sense. So.
I was like younger, ever since my streams got popular. And maybe one day I will, maybe one day I won't. At the end of the day, I think that one thing that I've always really kind of focused on and thought about a lot is that I have complete and absolute agency over my own life. I can do anything that I want to do, and I can not do anything that I don't want to do. And I think that's been a very comforting fact. And so people ask,
I feel like that's like a bad thing in some capacity, like not having something, I feel like for anybody, but again, maybe I'm just projecting, especially for men, I feel like, but not having like a motivation or something, it just what do you do? Like, there's no, if you have the ability to do whatever you want, your life, I don't know, you just do whatever you want. I just feel like for a lot of people, that's kind of creates, especially guys, it just creates just bad behavior. If I could do anything I wanted, I would be such a scumbag. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, like when I was younger, and when I mean younger, I mean like a late 20s. I was just fucking around with girls. I was in an open relationship. I was just fucking around with girls. I was doing whatever I want. And like now I'm 35, almost 34 really. And I'm just like sitting here, and I'm like, there was a time where can I get this? Fuck, my mom balls. Oh, I got it, but I didn't get it. Fuck. There was a time where like I could have I could have just been doing the same thing now. If I didn't meet my wife, I'd still be doing the same goddamn thing now, and I'd be so miserable. Or I'd be like miserable, but then I'd also be fucking a bunch of girls, and I would think that's so cool. But then now looking back at it, I'm like, damn, like that would have been fucking pathetic. Like I'm 35, I'd probably be fucking girls in like their 20s, like 23-year-old girls. Like that's some like weird pathetic shit. Like doing whatever you want would just make me so fucking cringe. That's what I look back at. I'm like, wow, like I'm really happy with the evolution of myself. You know, it's just so much better. Like obviously, like I feel like any man, like you think about like, oh, it'd be cool to fuck a girl, I guess, but like it's not even close to worth it. It's just like, oh, back in my day kind of thought, and then I kind of get over it because it's not even. It wouldn't even be good. I didn't even used to have sex for it to be good. I used to just have sex because I was like fucking, like just to put like a notch under my belt, like just some very, very immature behavior. So I don't know, man. Come on, come here, you stupid fucking bird.
Ask me, like, are you ever going to do this? It's not something I'm really thinking about changing right now, but in the future, I might change my mind. I just don't know yet. And so I just try to live life and enjoy it and, you know, be able to experience things for the way that they're meant to be experienced. And really, I don't care a whole lot about that either. I don't care about, you know, going out or having certain life experiences or, oh, you'll regret this. Well, who cares if you regret this?
I go to Disney, though. That's a pretty good life experience. That's fun.
When you're old, you're about to die anyway.
That's the thing. Like, I don't even have the motivation to do anything. I'd never do anything. My wife is the one who likes doing stuff, so like it helps. So like we go on vacation for my wife, and then I just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like it's just cool. I'm like, oh, I liked this a lot. You know?
Doesn't even matter. And so I've never really felt that way. It's just not. It's not in me. And so that's really my whole life. And that's why I live the way that I live. It's why I do things the way that I do things. And you know, maybe one day it'll change. Maybe one day it won't. Who the fuck knows? Tune in next time to find out. So anyway, guys,
you really think this guy's gonna die at 50? That'd be wild.
Hopefully,
I don't know if he's gonna make it that far. This guy has 180 blood pressure. What is he eating? Like, what is he doing?
Is a little bit more informative, etc. And shit, I got an early end for the day. We had to record something early, so I came home. I figured I'd record this, and it's only 6 p.m. And so
That's an early day. What the fuck?
I don't know what the hell to do with myself now. I'm not streaming. I'm gonna go walk around my house like an NPC. And so like I don't
go for a walk, like a regular walk, man.
Know what to do. I'm probably gonna go play video games. So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching. Thanks for listening if you've gotten this far. And yeah, things have been going great for me.
I live, and by 2 times he's still gonna live. I'm gonna live longer, probably. I mean, maybe. I go to the doctor fairly often. Well, how much do you think Asmon weighs? I'm like 320. Boom! I'm 320, dude. I gotta stop doing this, but. You know, it's hard to help it. Can't help myself. Wow, I actually look a little thick in this shirt. It's a Mickey Mouse shirt I bought yesterday at Walmart. Looking kind of thick in this thing, dude. Not like super muscular, but like I'm looking a little thick there, and then I'm looking a little bit thick in the shoulders, and my traps are kind of thick. No, not bad.
Recently, and I want to say
I feel like I'm gonna peak when I'm like 40. Holy fuck. The chair looked like a small person standing next to me. I feel like I'm gonna peak when I'm like 40. Like when I have kids, my wife always says, well, we're gonna have kids, and like the fucking like the fucking teachers and shit are gonna, or like the other moms are gonna I'm like that kind of guy. I'm like the hot dad. I think that's what I'm gonna be, is like a hot dad. So that'll be cool. But you know, I'm gonna stay away from the evil demons. Women are demons. You have to stay away from
say thank you to everybody who's been so supportive and everything, and you know, my best way that I can say thank you is by doing more of it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
And twerking,
and that's about it. Peace.
All right, cool video, man. It was cool to hear that about Asmongold. God bless him.